Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Align Plans, and thank you so much for joining me in today's video. If you have been wanting to get into minimalist planning, but really like the main purpose was, so if productivity is like the main focus for you and you wanted to kind of get some tips of how to really optimize your planner, I'm going to be sharing with you about 5 tips that I have and 1 bonus tip of how you can actually do that in the most optimal way. If that sounds good, stay tuned because then this video is for you. And of course, if you are brand new to my channel, thank you so much for coming by. My name is Meshi, and we chat at least a couple of times a week here, and we talk about anything and everything minimalist planning. Sometimes we do some unboxing videos, other times we just kind of get into the nitty-gritty of how we can use these beautiful tools in the most aligned and optimal and mindful way. So if that sounds good, then consider subscribing. All right, let's get started here. So my first tip when it comes to setting your planner up, here we go, setting your planner up optimally is basically to reorganize the way that you have your setup. So what do I mean by that? So what I had up to this point is basically a dashboard, another dashboard, like a year at a glance, some decor, and then we have the monthly view. And keep in mind that my planner currently is not optimized for productivity because I'm not really using it to be like the most productive tool. I kind of have it separated, but I wanted to point out that when you first open up your planner, like I guess I'm a little bit set up for productivity. Like the very first thing that I'm looking at is my social media calendar. So I'm actually using this monthly admin as a social media calendar. So when I open it up, I see when I'm going to be doing posts, when I'm doing a live. You get the point. So the very next thing that you see is actually the weekly view of that same system. So this is the very first thing that I want to look at because this will be the first thing that I'm going to be addressing when I'm opening up my planner. And then, so you know, just be mindful of what is the very first thing that you're looking at. Perhaps for you, it would be your weekly view, and then you add stickies on there to really highlight certain parts that you don't want to forget. Or it's a note section with all of your to-do list. Whatever it is, make sure that it's like it's in your face, like, or you open it up at the section and you leave it open at the section that is most relevant to you. So that would be tip number 1. Moving on to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is it's all about not only having things right at the forefront so you see them right away, but also removing things every single time or every single week. So I would kind of make this into like a weekly thing where you remove all the clutter. And I don't necessarily think that everything that you put in your planner is obviously it's not clutter, but just remove things that are not really serving a purpose. So that's kind of what I mean by clutter. So if this is not beyond making me feel awesome, and yes, you can say hello to Noah, if it doesn't make me feel awesome, it's taking up mental space. So then I can immediately remove that. If this card, this decor card or whatever I'm choosing to put in here, if it doesn't inspire me, so think of like the Marie Kondo way. Like if it doesn't inspire joy, then remove it because then it doesn't serve its energetic purpose that it needed to. So you kind of get the point. So when you look through your planner and then you have items in there that doesn't really light you up, or if it just becomes extra, so that would be extra inserts, that could be old inserts that you're no longer using. So I would end up removing them, and you see me removing this on a regular basis whenever I do any unboxing videos, because then I constantly swap things out to keep it fresh. So that's kind of what I mean. But pockets are a great way to collect clutter, so just keep that in mind that you might want to kind of revisit this on a regular basis so that you take out what's not serving you anymore. Moving on to number 3, let's talk a little bit about color coding. And I know that within the minimalist planning community, you want to keep your spreads aesthetically pleasing, but you have to kind of think of some of your spreads, how functional it is, right? And honestly, sometimes you do need to add color because you can use color as a fantastic way to color code things. One really good example that I have is actually this monthly admin page, where you can see that I'm using yellow and light blue and pink. So it doesn't take up, and I'm not even sure if you can see here. Let's get you zoomed in. Here we go. So you can kind of see that I color coded when I'm doing a post or when I'm doing a live or when I'm doing whatever. It's all color coded, and I'm kind of leaving where it says important dates. I have my little key here in the bottom so that it always keeps me on track. Now, can you do this with dots? Of course you can. I find that the little dot markers just a little bit more, like they're just quicker. So then I'm not constantly peeling off stickers. So the dot stickers are fantastic. I find that these are actually amazing for day-to-day, like what I'm actually doing with my to-do list. But when I'm actually color coding something much bigger, I personally prefer the dot markers. They're fantastic. Nevertheless, using color coding as a system is so fantastic because then it keeps your brain organized. So just keep that in mind, that it really helps your brain to kind of categorize things of what you're doing. Okay, let's move on to tip number 4. If you use color, so let's say that you're good with color, maybe you're not using color coding, but you're okay with color and you're using it as a decoration piece, I recommend that you basically use 1 to 2 colors max. So this is a good example of contrasting colors where I'm not using a ton of colors because I don't want, and even this is actually busy, to be honest. Using 1 color here to highlight, 1 to 2 colors, and I mean, I end up using 3 unfortunately, but so using 1 to 2 colors the most. This would be a perfect example where I was basically just using like little dot and teardrop stickers, again, in the same neutral family. But the idea is that I don't keep things too cluttered. This is another example of just keeping things very minimal because I don't want the colors to kind of take over. And my biggest recommendation when it comes to picking colors, or you want it to kind of theme up your days or your daily spreads, is if you use colors, stick to 1 to 2 color and coordinate your pens with the colors that you're choosing. So hopefully that makes sense, that it helps you focus more on productivity rather than on decoration. And I know that it's a really fine dance between the two, where you have to kind of find that balance of like, I want it to be pretty and decorative and elegant, but at the same time I want it to also be functional. So and it's going to look different. Just keep in mind that it's going to look different for each of you, because it always looks different for me versus what I see, let's say, on Pinterest as an inspiration. And number 5 is, so use your tabs, and whether you're using your top tabs appropriately or you're literally marking where your day is. So here, like if I'm using this appropriately, I should actually just flip to it and I should see this week at least, or today. So here we go. So I am using it appropriately. But if you don't want to do any of that, ollie clips are fantastic. And again, you're just not wasting time on flipping to the page that you really want to get to. And that makes a big difference. So here I can just easily clip this together at the top and boom. So use your ollie clips and things like that. I mean, I've seen so many of you just have the ollie clips kind of lined up like little soldiers, but none of them are really being used. And it's so sad because you're not utilizing the tool for what it was actually intended for. Anyway, I digress. And last but not least, I mentioned that I'm going to be giving you a bonus tip. Oh, and I mean, it's so good. Okay. Here's my bonus tip, and I needed to sleep on this actually because it took me a hot minute to kind of figure it out. And I've been sitting on this trying to figure out how do we use this guy? So how do we use your little monthly spread thing, your little monthly calendar card that we get each month? And I mean, no matter what type of sub box you have, you're gonna have one of these in one shape or form, whether you have it like this or you have it like what I have here in my little Hobonichi. I have it here too from Planner Spot, it doesn't matter. How do we use this? And here's what you can do, okay? And I can't believe it took me this long to think of this. Turn it, well, in this one you can't do it, but on this one it's fantastic. So turn it over, okay? And use either your spotlight flags, or you can use your matchstick flags. I don't care. First of all, you can put them on the back to hold it, okay? And if you don't want to do that, just put one of each, okay? Let's say I want 3 different things. Okay, Now, you write on here one word that represents your goal, one word that you want your weekly focus to be on. You can write your weekly intention, so you can use this weekly. I would, because the month is already there, I would actually recommend that. And I mean, look how cute this looks, right? Use this as a way to write on there what your intention is, what your focus is, what your goals are, what your fitness goal is, whatever. But this, you can literally just either take it with you, so you have it with you at all times as an active reminder, or you can just leave it by your desk and it could say like water intake, it could say, you know, 5-minute break from screen time, or like whatever your actual intention is, whatever your focus is. And that can be health related, that can be, you know, mindfulness related, like mental health related, that can be your fitness goals, or that can just be like a reminder, date night on the 16th. So there's 1,001 ways that you can use it. I would recommend keeping it super simple and just write 3 words that you want your focus to be for the month of April, or for whatever month you're using it for. And the page flags, and like whether it's the matchstick or the spotlight, is a fantastic way of doing it because it sticks to it so well. I think that it's too small for anything else. Like you can maybe try these little, or you can put like maybe a small washi tape, like a small washi tape would be really nice too, like whatever you want. So there's a lot of different ways of using it, but honestly, I would just actually, I would actually just start with write your words on there. And actually, why don't I just do that right now? But how cute is that, where you literally just have a few of your words, and then here you go. This is what she looks like. Or here's the white backer. So that's what she looks like. So that would be a fantastic way to just keep you, so to me, this is more just like to kind of keep you accountable. It's not necessarily important, but if you're sitting there wondering how to use this effectively, that would be my tip for you. This is all I have for you. This is all I wanted to share. Let me know in the comment section below, what is your #1 productivity hack? Because I would love to hear from you, and that way we can kind of just share our knowledge and in how we're utilizing these beautiful tools. So please comment below, let me know your #1 productivity hack that has helped you in the past. And in the meanwhile, thanks so much for coming by. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. You can also support the channel by subscribing, and just keep planning, you guys. And I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye. Could be